3i Atlas. I have new images to share with you that are actually from satellites, not artificial intelligence. My favorite video that I just saw as far as nonsense goes on 3i Atlas, though, I'm going to show it to you, is an amoeba. There's an amoeba, and somebody added to the video, oh, that's what 3i Atlas looks like when you stack up a bunch of images. It's not an amoeba, folks. So we'll debunk that real quick. But I love getting worked up in the chat because people show up in the chat and they think they know everything. And this one guy jumps into the chat and he's like, you're clickbaiting people, Rex. There's no new images of 3i Atlas. It's behind the sun right now. Well, according to the latest data from several different satellites, we do have images. And Professor Loeb has also released these images. And if anybody should know that, it should be you. So anyway, just I love you, but yeah, we're gonna prove right away that it's not a flying amoeba, and we do have new images of 3i Atlas. So buckle up, Buttercups. Let's go. I want to thank everybody for being here with me. I want to thank you for being here on YouTube. I also want to thank those that are watching on Rumble. Much appreciated. If you haven't subscribed to our Rumble channel yet, jump on over there and subscribe. It'll take you 90 seconds. And make sure you're subscribed here on YouTube as well. Much thanks to YouTube for letting us do this. So click the link. It's a bell. You click the bell, hit the bell, be well, and be notified, hopefully, for our latest podcast. But let's get into this, shall we? The latest paper from Professor Loeb is 3i Atlas rapidly brightens and gets bluer than the sun near Perihelion. This came out several hours ago, Professor Loeb. And let's take a look at the images right now, shall we? Yeah, let's do that. Let's jump on over to the images. The newer images that were just released. Yes, here we go. Buckle up. I think I just said that. Yeah, I'm a little bit worked up in a good way. In a good way. And how's your day going? You having a nice day? Hope you're having a beautiful day today and things are going well for you. So here we go. Here they are. These are the latest images. As you can see, October 18th through October 24th. This one was taken September 11th through the 26th. This is stereo A. This shows you the exact satellite technology used and the instruments used for these shots, for these images. The first one, as you can see here, here's the timeline of it. It is called the GOES 19 CCOR-1, October 18th through the 24th. This one right down here, Star PSF. Here's the SOHO. You've all heard of SOHO, right? The Solar Observatory, Heliosphere Observatory. Here's an image right here. Here's another one. Now, obviously, you would like to see better images closer up, you know, thinking of the billions of dollars spent on space technologies in order to follow and track and image and share images with us, etc. But this is the newest paper. These are the newest images. Now, can I debunk something real quick? Can I do that? Where is it at here? First of all, let me show you the equipment. Let me show you the equipment that's being used. And another major CME, a massive CME blasts off the sun. The sun has been extremely active since 3i Atlas has been traveling through our solar system. The backside of the sun has been erupting massive CMEs. We're talking like X5s potentially. And this is another one just happened. And you can see the timeline right here. Look at that. Boom. Okay. So what did they use to capture images of 3i Atlas recently? This is one of the instruments. It's called stereo, SECCHI. And what does that stand for? I'll tell you in a moment. Here is the SOHO. You can see that massive solar or that CME erupting. This is the Sun Gazer project. And so far, over 5,000 comets have been discovered with the SOHO, LASCO C2, C3 technologies and instruments. This is the CCOR from the Navy, and NASA is obviously a part of it as well, but this is under the Navy.mil, the CCOR. This image you're looking at right here is not 3i Atlas. It's actually Sushinshan Atlas. Sushinshan Atlas, I think was last year. Yeah, you can see 10/10, 2024. And that thing was intense, but not nearly as intense as 3i Atlas. So let's take a look at 3i Atlas. Where is 3i Atlas today? According to the sky, 3i Atlas is located here, Venus here, and then Earth is all the way on the other side of the sun there. Oh, not trying to make you dizzy. Sorry about that. Scroll out there. So Earth, 3i Atlas. Now, yesterday, according to reports, was the closest it is to the sun. That was its perihelion date to the sun yesterday. And now let's jump back over to see what Professor Loeb has to say. So new images of 3i Atlas prior to perihelion from various instruments. You've got a stack of all CCOR1 frames of 3i Atlas on the top, which is right here. Then you've got on the left panel the equivalent stack centered on a nearby star on the same frames, which is the bottom right panel. Similar stacks of all HI1 and COR2 and LASCO C3. All stacks are aligned with north up. The heliocentric velocity and sunward or anti-sunward directions are labeled. So there you go. These are the newest images of 3i Atlas. No clickbait there. 3i Atlas is currently hidden from terrestrial telescopes. Hence, that might be why you thought that I wasn't sharing new images of 3i Atlas, because you were thinking that I was going to use my cell phone, but I'm not using my cell phone to take images of 3i Atlas. A lot of people like to use their cell phone to, capture Nibiru, but they're not really capturing Nibiru. I'm being a little bit facetious. I apologize. Man, I got worked up by that dude. It's all good. Hold on. I'm going to drink some kombucha. I love people. I love people. I love people. I love people. Okay. 3i Atlas, currently hidden from terrestrial. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to rant like that. I will stop. I love you. 3i Atlas is currently hidden from terrestrial telescopes behind the sun as it went through solar conjunction relative to Earth, October 21st. However, this unfavorable geometry of the opposition from Earth, a possible hint of design, placed 3i Atlas within the fields of view of several space-based solar coronagraphs and heliospheric imagers, enabling its continued observation during its final approach towards perihelion. And did somebody just kick me down a super chat? Thank you very much for the super chat, Trisha Talks. Much appreciated. And Mermaid Moxie's in the chat. Hey, how you doing, Mermaid? Good to see you. It's good to see all of you. Thank you all very much for being here. I'll get back to the comments in a second, but I want to stay focused. So you know how it is staying focused when your mind's thinking of a million things at once consciously. The new observations were taken by the following set of instruments. The stereo, that stands for Solar Terrestrial Relations Observatory. It consists of two identical spacecraft that were launched back in 2006. Stereo A orbits slightly faster than Earth around the sun. Stereo B orbits slightly slower than Earth around Sol. Stereo B has not been operational since 2014, so only Stereo A observed 3i Atlas. The observations were made by two cameras, the HI1 and COR2, so Hi1, Core 2, and the Sun-Earth Connection Coronal and Heliospheric Investigation, which is SECCHI instrument suite. The SOHO, which is the Solar and Heliospheric Observatory, launched in 95, orbits the Sun-Earth first Lagrange point, which is L1, carrying the LASCO, which is a large angle and spectrometric coronagraphs. GOES 19, which launched just last year. It's a weather satellite. It operates in geostationary orbit. It carries the compact coronagraph 1 coronagraph, which is CCOR1 abbreviation. The new paper reports observations of 3i Atlas from Stereo A's SECCHI Hi1 and Core 2, SOHO's LASCO C3, and GOES 19 CCOR1 instruments during the months of September and October. So let's go look at these. Let's look at the images again. Just give you a minute to look at that now that I explained the technologies and how the instruments work. Okay. So there's something that I want to share with you. Let's see, did that pull up? Yeah, this right here. This video, there's probably been thousands of people that have reposted this video and tweaked it a little bit and added a little bit of text to it to make it seem more interesting, adjusted the contrast a little bit, you know, stuff like that to get more views, right? So if you want to talk about clickbait, this is most likely clickbait. I do not buy for a second that this is 3i Atlas. So have you ever seen a amoeba? You ever seen what an amoeba looks like? Like this. Here's an amoeba under a microscope. This looks like an amoeba. Let's play the video, shall we? 3i Atlas fragment cluster. That's nonsense. Somebody took an amoeba and added special effects to it using some ridiculous computer graphic artificial intelligence animation. There is no way in hell that is a 33-ton nickel alloy comet traveling through space at 130,000 miles an hour. So debunk, that's clickbait, not what I put in the title. Yeah, if you see that in the feed, I can assure you that is not 3i Atlas. That is more like an amoeba turned into, you know, using a little bit of artificial intelligence and then adding a script to it to sell it to the masses. So an amoeba floating through air. All right, so let's get back to the paper here. Pretty cool amoeba, right? Yeah, I know. The 33 is uncanny. The amount of times that 33 is used, it's 33 billion tons. It's pushing 33 gigawatts, literally. That's what they're saying, 33 gigawatts. A paper was just written by Professor Loeb and 2 other people, and it's 33 pages. So 33 is a powerful number. 33 is powerful. But I know a lot of people that, like, you know, their number was 33 in football. So, and they're not a part of any secret society. So sometimes it is 33. And there's nothing more to it. However, a lot of times when you see 33 in the news, it seems like there's some type of code used there, but we'll get into that in a whole other podcast. Let's talk about what we do know with as minimal speculation as possible. In addition, 3i Atlas appears distinctly bluer than the sun in the LASCO CCOR1 color photometry, in contrast to earlier observations showing it to be red, suggesting that emission contributes a substantial fraction of the overall visible brightness. Following Perihelion, which was just yesterday, 3i Atlas will return to be observable from Earth at twilight as it arrives at closest approach to Earth December 19th, 2025, which, just so you know, December 19th, that's the day before the winter solstice. The winter solstice usually starts around the 20th. So, depending on time zones, depending on the time zones, like, that's perfect timing. Perfect timing. I love that. So following its 2025 October 29th perihelion, 3i Atlas will return to be observable from Earth at twilight as it arrives at closest approach to Earth December 19th. Ground-based observations as well as data from the Hubble and Webb space telescopes during the month of December will be able to characterize 3i Atlas in great detail. Now, the question is, will we see that footage? Like, we're still waiting for the high-rise footage. Now, there were news articles that came out recently that said Professor Loeb was interviewed, and I need to find this interview specific and listen to it to verify it. But there were a multitude of news articles that said Professor Loeb came out and told the reporter or whoever was questioning him that these observatories have to send their data to intelligence agencies first and the military first before they can send it out to astronomers and scientists. Now, probably not all the data, but very sensitive data, or what could be considered very sensitive data, like flying spacecraft of interstellar origin. I mean, yeah. I mean, another thing I was thinking about, if this is a spacecraft, I wouldn't be surprised if it was made here. from a like breakaway civilization, potentially. I'm not going to be surprised if it is a spacecraft or if it's not a spacecraft. Either way, because I'm going to look at everything as bullshit until proven otherwise. And that way you'll be let down less. And, you know, people are coming out saying that November 1st, everything's going to change after November 1st. Nothing is ever going to be the same again. Like maybe for some people, but overall, do you really think that November 1st is going to be a day where the aliens show up and they're like, we come in peace, we come in peace. I'm not buying it. But if it happens, right on. Bring the popcorn. Just make sure it's non-GMO. Let's go back to the article. I'm digressing here again. Following its 2025 October 29th perihelion, 3i Atlas will return to be observable from Earth at twilight. The authors of the new paper, so listen to this. This is wild. As it arrives at closest approach to Earth, December 19th, 2025, ground-based observations, as well as data from the Hubble and Webb space telescopes during the month of December, will be able to characterize 3i Atlas in great detail. The new data suggests that 3i Atlas will likely emerge from perihelion brighter than before. Like it got charged. It's ready to go. The appearance of 3i Atlas as bluer than the sun is very surprising. Dust is expected to redden the scattered sunlight, and the surface of the object is expected to be an order of magnitude colder than 5,800 degrees Kelvin at the photosphere of the sun, resulting in it having a redder color than the sun. We must therefore add the blue color at perihelion as a ninth anomaly to the list of unexpected properties, compiled most recently in a paper that he wrote, and we can look at that again in a minute. I've gone over that with you all before, and we'll get back into it. So we've got another anomaly to add to the list of this incredible interstellar object. Now, does it employ a power source that is hotter than the sun, hence it being brighter on the way back around towards us again and making it bluer than the sun as it passes the sun? That is incredible. This is an image of 3i Atlas from the Punch constellation of satellites, based on a co-added stack of all the images from a filter centered around a wavelength of 0.55 micrometers, taken on October 27th, 2025. So this is an image that was taken just a few days ago, and they stacked it and they uploaded it, and here it is. It's from the Punch constellation. Isn't it wild that an entire constellation of satellites that probably cost hundreds of millions of dollars, the best image we can get is this? I mean, but it's 33 billion tons and it's made of nickel alloy and it's got an anti-tail and I mean, it's like all this other stuff they're telling us, but like this is what we get to look at, a blurred image of a dot. I mean, come on, man. You could do better than that. So Professor Loeb, you're awesome. Much appreciated. I appreciate you continuing this research. And I find it very interesting how many people are saying negative things towards him because he's a professor at Harvard. And look, I understand where your mind's at. I don't agree with it. But a lot of people, they're like, that's where the skull and bones comes from. That's actually Yale, just so you know, it's Yale. The skull and bones is Yale. It's not Harvard. But, you know, look, I understand what you're thinking, but I don't agree with it. And also, when Professor Loeb comes out and, you know, he flat out tells the person that's interviewing him that the military has to authorize a lot of information being released from observatories, like, that's pretty cool that he would actually say that, especially being that he's a professor at Harvard. And, you know, some people think he's disinformation. I don't know. I haven't seen anything that's specifically disinformation yet from Professor Loeb. Everything that he's came out with has been theory based upon the research that he has done. So I find that pretty cool. But, you know, that's a whole other podcast. And I'm not here to change your mind. I'm just giving you my opinions on things. And that's what I love about this country, is at least that's what I've loved about it thus far. Overall, we can speak our minds. We can think what we want to think and have our own opinions on things. Like, a lot of people sugarcoat stuff, and, you know, that's why I have friends that have no filters, because if they think something, they're going to tell you. They're not going to sugarcoat it. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So this paper right here This is a paper that was also referenced about the brightening of 3I Atlas ahead of perihelion. And as you can see, this wasn't written by Professor Loeb. This is written by Qi-Cheng Zhang and Carl Badams. And it's titled Rapid Brightening of 3I Atlas Ahead of Perihelion. Interstellar comet 3I Atlas has been approaching its October 29th perihelion while opposite the sun from Earth, hindering ground-based optical observations over the preceding month. However, this geometry placed the comet within the fields of view of several space-based solar coronagraphs and heliospheric imagers, enabling its continued observation during the final approach towards perihelion. We report photometry from Stereo A and SECCHI, the Hi1, Core 2, SOHO, LASCO C3, and GOES 19s. Scaling with heliocentric distance, the CCOR1 also resolves the comet as an extended source with an apparent coma. There's the size right there. Furthermore, LASCO CCOR1 color photometry shows the comet to be distinctly bluer than the sun. That is wild. Consistent with gas emission contributing a substantial fraction of the visible brightness near perihelion. All right, let me share something with you guys and gals. So this is what we know so far about 3I Atlas. This is everything we know so far, approximately, cliff notes here. 3I Atlas was discovered July 1st by the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, which is dubbed ATLAS. Now, that's in Chile. It's a telescope in Chile. It has been classified as an interstellar object, hence the 3I prefix, because this is the third interstellar object discovered. The first one was Oumuamua, which, once again, Oumuamua, the first interstellar object ever discovered. Everybody's amazed and fascinated, and yet we get artist renditions of orbiting space turds. We get space turds. That's the artist rendition of Oumuamua is a space turd. The billions and billions of dollars we fund these guys, and we get space turds. And then, like, even the artificial intelligence that's in these, I've seen videos that get million+ views, and they've got Oumuamua on the front. It says Oumuamua, and it looks like a flying steak. It's just steak. It's like a tube. Anyway. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Loving it. You got to love it, right? You got to love it when we live in a reality TV show and we pay exuberant amounts of money for artist renditions of space turds. Anyway, 3I Atlas is the third interstellar object. It was discovered by the Atlas system, classified as interstellar object. It's bound for hyperbolic exit from the solar system rather than orbiting like a typical comet. So it's got a hyperbolic exit instead of a typical comet. It's only the third confirmed interstellar object after Oumuamua, flying space turd, and 2I Borisov. The 3I Atlas is moving extremely fast at about 130,000 miles an hour. It's going to reach perihelion. Yesterday, it reached perihelion, and it was roughly 210 million kilometers away from the sun. Now, it did make it in. I'm sorry, let me repeat that. It reaches perihelion October 29th at a distance of roughly 210 million kilometers, just inside the orbit of Mars, per some sources. The closest approach to Earth is projected about 170 million miles away, and that's going to be December 19th, the day before the winter solstice. It poses no threat to Earth, according to current data that is being released to the public anyway. Observations show 3I Atlas was outgassing, showing a comet-like behavior earlier than expected, and has a high ratio of carbon dioxide relative to the coma as other regular comets. Images show the object's coma has turned a vivid green as it gets closer to the sun, and then it's bluer than the sun as it passes the sun. It's developed a visible tail and a pronounced jet of material oriented towards the sun, which is referred to as an anti-tail, but there have been other comets that have shown signatures of an anti-tail. And if you study the electric universe theory and their theory on comets I think that that's an incredible way to describe these comets versus just flying snowballs. Now, because of its hyperbolic path and high velocity, 3I Atlas is believed to originate from interstellar space. Some scientists label it as a black swan object, rare and surprising in behavior because of its properties, composition, trajectory, activity, differing from many previously observed comets. Now, what's also very interesting is Professor Loeb had been talking to people that are like big time traders in the markets, and they are trading around certain dates of Comet Atlas. Like the 29th, I think, was a key date for them as well. There's an increasing scientific attention and flurry of observations, multiple large telescopes and space missions. We've got the James Webb targeting 3I Atlas. However, we haven't seen anything new from James Webb for some time. We probably will now, hopefully. I mean, I don't know, folks. What do you think? Do you think that they're going to make everything up that they show us? Do you think they're going to show us anything legit outside of these like little pixels, these tiny little dots that they're showing us? There are proposals and modeling work suggesting that existing spacecraft might intercept or pass through the tail. So yeah, there's JUICE, that's one of them, and Lucy. Those are two spacecraft that might be able to capture data by traveling through its tail. For instance, suggestion of observing via Mars and Jupiter probes. Yep. Some astronomers, Professor Loeb is an example, are suggesting more radical interpretations that 3I Atlas might not be fully natural. He currently has it as a 4 on a scale from 0 to 10 on the Loeb scale. Professor Loeb has it on a number 4, 0 being absolutely comet, 10 being absolutely alien technology. He has it as a 4. He did have it as a 6, and now it's currently at a 4. But he's not the only one, folks. Like, that's the thing. The news is really pushing how Professor Loeb is the only guy with certain credentials talking about 3I Atlas potentially being alien technology. He's not. I had Greg Allison on the show just a few days ago, and he's going to come on the show again this week. And he has came up with similar statistics on the trajectory of 3I Atlas, like almost identical when it comes to the math. And a couple of those were percentage-wise 0.004 or 0.005%. Very, very highly unlikely. And when I'm saying 0.005% on the trajectory, that is 0.005% that it is natural and not being intelligently maneuvered through the solar system, potentially being some type of alien spacecraft. And there's other suggestions that this thing could be sentient, could be some type of sentient consciousness. And to a degree, I mean, very much so, actually, I would say all the planets have to have some type of consciousness in order for them to move the way that they do. Like, look at the symbols and the planets. Look at the way Venus maneuvers around all of our planets, and the upside down star representing the orbit of Venus. But that's a whole other podcast. And I don't necessarily think that this is a 33 billion ton nickel alloy entity, like singular entity. It would make a lot more sense if this is an artificial craft, that there's people controlling this craft. There are beings inside of this controlling it, and they might have figured out a way to modify it. And that's a lot of what Greg Allison talks about. So let's get back to there's other people that are looking at the very real possibility that this is an alien spacecraft outside of Professor Loeb. Greg Allison, rocket scientist, defense contractor. He's been a contractor at NASA. He's worked on aeronautic systems and missile systems and defense systems. I mean, the guy's a genius. He's also a homesteader, and he's very down to earth, and he's very kind, and he'll give you this, like the shoes off his feet if you need them more than he does. A very nice guy. But he's so smart that 95% of the math that he does, most people couldn't even understand because they're just not at that level when it comes to mathematics. He's genius. And there's also other people talking about this being a potential spacecraft that have worked in aerospace. And let me pull him up right now. The guy I'm talking about. He's a PhD. This guy, Dr. John Brandenburg. Dr. John Brandenburg has left tweets saying that if this thing gets closer, that it's going to be shot down. And he's also written books on Mars and Mars being like Earth at one point. And I haven't read those books, but this guy has a resume that is outstanding. I mean, the guy's genius, and he thinks that this is a spacecraft, at least from what I've read. So my point is, there's a lot more people out there that are very intelligent that are looking at this as a potential technology. This is a massive CME, the backside of the sun. There has been at least 3 or 4 since 3i Atlas started making its way on the other side of the sun, at least the way we would look at it, where we're at, based upon where we are at, nanu. And a lot of people think it's just not big enough, it's not close enough to cause interactions with the sun. However, if it's 33 billion tons of nickel alloy traveling at 130,000 miles an hour, I wouldn't be surprised if it was able to interact with the sun in a way to cause these type of flares. So my question is, if this is a cause of these flares, when it makes a way around the sun, which it is doing now, and it starts getting closer to Earth, will the Earth-facing side of the sun start to shoot CMEs? And is that a concern? And is that why the planetary defense, literally the International Asteroid Warning Network, it's not the NASA Planetary Defense Network, that's like a separate entity, but the International Asteroid Warning Network is running a program from November 27th through January 27th with a multitude of observations, observatories, scientists, and astronomers in tracking 3i Atlas. And you can actually apply for that, but you have to have certain credentials. So, if you're an amateur astronomer like myself with an 8-inch telescope, that might not be enough to get into this program, but it's worth a try. And you can definitely send them out an email and ask them. Look at that. Boom. Boom. That was the 27th. 29th. The Sun Grazer Project with SOHO. We've discovered over 5,100 comets so far. This is Atlas Suchinasan. Wow. I wonder if it'll be similar when we see what goes past when they show us 3i Atlas. I mean, they haven't shown us anything nearly that cool yet. Current trajectory as of today. Here's 3i Atlas. Let's play this out for a minute. All right, so right around March 21st. You know what? Isn't March 20th, March 21st? Isn't that the spring equinox or the solar? Interesting. March 21st, spring equinox. March 19th, 20th, and 21st. Okay. Perfect. That is perfect timing, right? Wow. So, winter equinox, Earth. Spring or winter solstice, it's at its closest approach to Earth. Spring equinox, it's at its closest approach to Jupiter. That's really cool. It reaches Perihelion to the sun 2 days prior, or Perihelion, obviously, 2 days prior to Halloween. Maybe there is something more to these dates. and the flybys. Very, very interesting. So this is all the official images of 3i Atlas from the James Webb, the Hubble Space Telescope, Atlas itself, which is the telescope that first discovered it, the Sphere X. And then you've got the flying amoeba. The flying amoeba. The original footage of this flying amoeba, it was just this right here. It didn't have all these things shooting out of it like you see now. So what I think is somebody took an like video or a GIF of an actual amoeba, something under a microscope, and then they added a bunch of text to it, and then they added some special effects and artificial intelligence, and they said, "This is 3i Atlas, everybody. Look what it's doing. What we did is we stacked 100 images, and that's why it does this, because we stacked it. Yeah, that's what we did." I call this absolute nonsense. But it is funny. It is funny, you know, like when like your friends post it on Facebook and you're like, "Bro, that's a flying amoeba. That's not a, come on, man." Okay. But dude, it said it was stacked. Here's an amoeba. Let's look at some amoebas, man. An amoeba. Often called an amoeboid. Type of cell or unicellular organism with the ability to alter its shape primarily by extending and retracting pseudopods. Amoebas do not form a single taxonomic group. Instead, they are found in every major lineage of eukaryotic organisms. Kind of like erotic, but it's a little different. Amoeboid cells occur not only among the protozoa, but also in fungi, algae, and animals. And now 3i Atlas is a giant amoeba. I love it. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that exciting? Come on, lighten up, people. You gotta have a little bit of fun with the amoebas. I mean, I would be. It's okay if we get video footage of it and it's a flying amoeba, I will take back my words. Okay, I'll be like, "You're right. It was a flying amoeba. I don't know what I was thinking." You're right. I'm so sorry. All right, let's see. What do we got next? I thought I had some more information to share with you. So the images that you're looking at are using space-based solar coronagraphs and heliospheric imagers. The Stereo A, SECCHI, the HI1, the Core 2, the SOHO, LASCO C3, GOES 19, CCOR1, and these were taken during September and October. The comet's brightness increased very steeply as it approached perihelion at heliocentric distances of less than 2 astronomical units, with a brightness scaling of a lot. By contrast, at larger distances, the earlier brightening trend was less. So the color and emission photometry shows the comet is distinctly bluer than the sun in the LASCO and the CCOR1 filters, indicating a substantial contribution from gas emission. The coma size, using GOES 19 and CCOR1 stacked, the comet appears as an extended source with an apparent coma diameter of, let's see here, let me show you this. I'll pull this up for you. No, we've already got this on here. Yeah. Same paper. Just giving you the clip notes. It's about the size of Manhattan. Wow. Pretty cool, everybody. Pretty cool. What do you think? Hey, have a good one. Thanks for watching. Have a beautiful day. And thank you, everybody, for watching the podcast. Much appreciated. There's still that deal at Boomer Boost, just so you know. The Boomer Boost and the Gladiator Barley, still trying to get them to change the name to Gen X Boost. But anyway, boomerboost.com. Use the code REX20. You'll get an extra 20% off your order. And you can also set up auto ship, and you can stack additional discounts. Like auto ship, you'll get a discount. But I just do a scoop of the Boomer Boost and a scoop of the Gladiator barley, and put it in the water, mix it up, drink it, and rock and roll. Stuff is awesome. Awesome, 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 awesome. And you're awesome. And thank you very much for watching the shows here at YouTube and Rumble. And I hope to see you over on Patreon. We're doing exclusive content on Patreon. I just uploaded some exclusive field trips on Patreon. I'm uploading an 1.5-hour exclusive video of Area 51. I was out there with my friend Lee Wilbarger a little while ago, and we got some great footage and some interesting intel out there at the gates. And there's even a secret gate. Well, there's several secret gates, but one of the secret gates at Area 51 was where we were at. And yeah, Agent Cat, Stu, Shondell, good to see you, brother. Good to see all of you. Thank you, everybody. Have a beautiful day. Be the change you want to see.